So now we have received a few questions, and we will answer these questions. And so, actually, when you ask a question, then your question that can actually benefit everyone here. And but also sometimes you might feel that like this question you don't relate to that question at all, and then you might feel a bit tired of listening to it. And so in that case you can just meditate. And so actually, however, whatever you hear, whatever Dharma you hear in your life, actually is in a way stored within your mind. And later, after you have died, whatever you have heard will all become clear. Because after you have died, the consciousness in the bardo then possesses 5 kinds of clairvoyance. For example, an unforgettable, like an unfailing memory of remembering everything. So here your awareness, your memory is very bright. And at that time, everything arises, all the virtues and non-virtuous things that have happened in your life and everything that you have heard and so on, you will remember all of that. And so therefore, whatever you have heard in this life, all the teachings and also the transmissions, the reading transmissions and so on, even if you don't really understand them now, at that time in the bardo, the meaning of all that will be clear. So for this reason, it's very beneficial. So we come to the questions, and actually, now when this feeling in you arises to really have this question answered, and then you have this question answered, and you really actually relate to this question, it's also a sign that you're really actually looking at your own mind. So these questions in general are very beneficial for everyone here. So we will start now with the questions.
세바티 참아 우리 샘들 빠자로 그래서 로레다 직보직바리 로레는 사지 가절 쳐보 쪽잖아 총총만 봐도 요말때 가절 삼아 쇼고요라 니바테 설사로 땅 삼아 총쪽을 빼대다 그래 홀와 되더니 매대 가래서야 돼 꼬라짜장 잔로요래 근데 가래시바테 소중의 시지 주자가 지자해요. 시지 주자 말이 랑글레게 다디티 빈초 직바 직장을 나오냐 봐도 준체해요 말. 대체로 빠져야래. 대체서 살용요래. 대체로 권한들이 좀 이렇게 제목제서 그래.
Here's also one way we can understand this cycle of existence or samsara. So it is this cycle. Whatever you do in this life with your body and speech, whatever you do is like taking a picture or like storing some information on a film strip. So you're kind of recording a film. Everything leaves an imprint in the mind. And for example, nowadays, actually, you could actually store the entire Gangyur, which is all of the collected works of the Buddha's words, the sutras. You can store all of these texts on a small USB stick, and it all fits in there. And later, whenever you open it, it's all there. You can see it all. And so it is just like that. Whatever you do in this life, virtue or non-virtues, everything leaves such an imprint in the mind. And that is how samsara then perpetuates, how we keep wandering in samsara. And so now, at the time of death, all these virtues and non-virtues that you have accumulated, so you might wonder then, is it that Yama, the Lord of Death, will there be like a judgment and he will like count all of our negative actions? So it's not like that, but it's your own karma that all lies in self-grasping, and after you have died, that self-grasping is the same as it is now. This stream of thinking that there is an I then just continues on, and within that stream then all of the pictures that you have taken, those imprints, they are all stored in there, and then they arise again naturally, because like on a film strip then the film appears. So if you understand that, actually this is also one way of really developing a great trust in karma. So the first question is it important to practice one deity as a main one?
가지는 라지는 몇개를 조고치를 띄워 잡혀요래. 대로 다 담아버감이 다인이요래. 얘네들 라지데 그 양대양도 공 고바라공 내 바라공 뜻이고 초발했던다 니요래. 라지는 초아치야. 배는 거 소유를 모르지 이나한테 라강나 공치는 마 무번은 가서 냠이 유는 못 가르쳐 때 공치리 때 공치리 되라더니 들이 다다 냠이 제바들이 띠바 톱지와들이 대냥들랑을 들이 다다 인이나 초알렙 타고요래 빼는 것도 퍼빠다 신지 대고반은 이전에 고바게 조를 된데 로타 버린 냠이 지를 들이라게 냠이 지를 대우신 냠이 지나 들때서 제야시고 대 초는 된 로마도 초아가까지요래 저도 냠이 마제바 탐지는 라치 바이는 초아 총거리 가시는 무지래 그랬더니요 트랍을 라가시는 데와 직장면 어떻게 하든 도마타지 라다 말라 좋아치 버리티 양가가리 데 트랍을 라가 지하마 들게 와래 때문에 바탕지는 냠들 인가리 치나 된데 바치와래 If you have, it depends now, but if you have a deity,
that you and naturally you have a strong connection to, and that you feel great love for, you really love a certain deity, then that's the deity that you should practice. And but also if that is not the case, then you can also practice more deities. But actually, in terms of attaining stability in the deity practice, it is just like if you have a friend, a human friend. If you have one really good friend, then that friend will be very stable also in the future. And so now that's from an ordinary perspective where we see a duality of self and other. And now when you practice a deity, now the power and stability of deity yoga comes from habituation of a deity. So we habituate to visualizing the form of the deity, and we habituate to the recitation of the deity's mantra. And then as a result of that habituation, then a unique feeling arises in the mind. And it really depends here on the extent of habituation, and not on the deity at all, actually. For example, in a monastery like our monastery, if there's a certain deity that the monastery has practiced continuously for a very long time, then there is a greater degree of habituation. So there is a greater level of practice here. That this deity really has been practiced for a long time. And because of that long stream of having been practiced, stability is achieved. So stability is achieved as a result of having practiced for a long time, and then a special feeling arises within you because of that. And then if you pass that on to others, then also that feeling arises in them. For example, in our monastery, we have practiced Vajrakilaya and Yamantaka for a very long time, always at the same time in the year, and that is ongoing. So there is a great habituation. That is why many disciples also say that a very special feeling arises when they engage in those practices. So it's actually not about the deity, but it's about how much one practices the deity. So all the deities really are the same, but the different experience, the feeling arises due to the level of habituation one has done. So that's one case. And then there are some who just naturally have a karmic connection. So even if in that life you have not really practiced the deity, you might have practiced that in previous lives, and so now when you again see this deity in this life, then immediately you feel very drawn to that deity. A very special feeling instantly arises, and so that is then your karmic deity from previous lives. And so there is a slight difference here. But so generally speaking, in general, the power of practice becomes greater depending on the level of practice one engages in. And then, when I feel the love of the deity, is that considered Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, or is it Nirmanakaya?
Longkore di longkore di Dongba Sai, Gondo Santi Jin Chalo Sai, Nava Shayung, Shayung Jotiri, Jiaga, the Shayung, Chukortini, Chima Mevadi, Nakana, Chapde, the Longkore, Longkore Javachi Matopa, the Madame Quarter, the Chocote, the door, so sort of meeting Peki or door, dog summer Chabi.
So actually it is a Sambhogakaya, and the love is a Sambhogakaya. And so the outer form of the deity, that the deity appears in a certain form with implements and ornaments and so on, that appearance of the deity appears out of the great love of the deity. The Dharmakaya nature of the deity is without any characteristics. So it is like space, all pervasive. And then out of love, the Sambhogakaya deity appears. And then now impure disciples then are not able to have a direct connection to the Sambhogakaya, and then to them the Nirmanakaya appears. The Nirmanakaya appears throughout the 6 realms of samsara, for example in the human world, but the Buddha emanations really pervade all of the 6 realms. So all the so all the Pure Lands are actually Sambhogakaya. We call them the Sambhogakaya Pure Lands. But then the Dharmakaya and the Sambhogakaya are actually a union. They are not separate from each other. So the Sambhogakaya Pure Lands, they appear just like a rainbow in the sky. So they actually vividly appear, but they are also unobstructed, insubstantial. They appear clearly and they are yet empty of self-nature. So the empty essence here is the Dharmakaya, and the natural clarity is the Sambhogakaya. So the Sambhogakaya and Dharmakaya are an indivisible union.
대중 무슨 생긴 통고를 세대 오 미주권 통제된 강반 통고요 명령 통고요 말이 생고 제와 가반 통고 오 무슨 생고랑 삼지가 동바다 적대 가야 돼 무슨 되니 가반 통고 무슨 통고요 대롱 거래지.
Actually, in fact, you can actually see it as Sambhogakaya, especially nowadays. We make like video calls nowadays with the phone, and so we call someone and then we see them and we can say hello Dashidele, and we look at them and we can see them, but they are not here, and that's actually a Sambhogakaya. That's like the Sambhogakaya of science. So what we actually really see is the person's mind. When we look at the image, we think that we see the body, but the body is just like an empty house. And it is not that we don't see that person because of the body, but because of the love. Because of the love in the mind, we are picking up the phone and we are making that call so we can see each other. And then also with the words, with our speech, the words that we say are words of love, also coming from the mind. And then we actually can see and experience the person. And that's actually the Sambhogakaya. And then there appears to be a focus on wrathful deity practice, yamantaka and so forth. Is this because the effects of wrathful deity practice is faster or more effective? If we don't have the capacity to do yamantaka this lifetime, what do you recommend we do?
Da tinda insari tengsan tanganso thu la nyamlan chigi yusari da tinda wa insari bena shinjela sopa ti gyumjin khare ina thu ge la nyamlan chena tini nuba tini yang nuba nyurto yang ruktu ge yorves thu la nyamlan che gyumjin de reves tini kesi nga thu la bena shinje nga nyamlan che nuba mena mitsati na nga nyamlan bena shinje to ba thu mathuna ta khare chi yores
대 시와도 초니지 시와 또 치와래 초도 이식이랑이 시와도 제와랑이 돈이지 들이 초마 덤내지 냐들이 와랑 것들이 라랑 것들이 출파던 거 제야 뭐 세고 초와라더니 가이 비나 되냐면 이제 르바는 초마 덤내더니 이제 르바르 초와지에도 가리 든든 르바 초마 덤내더니 저기는 통굴 배제 담지 빠져게다 로마서 그냥도 빠져게다 잡았던 거요래 대낭은 야 드니 밑에가 들어와서 저거요래 대다는 드니 다다 다냐장 알아서 같이 직장요인 조상요래 대탐지나 이 소속이 밑에가 조상들은 저것들은 어디 소속 신도를 대 초의 샴들이 잡을 샴들이 다른 몇 가지 문제를 무슨 좋아도 이제 들어봤다는 배우 제거를 근데 소속 한번나 되게 그냥 이제 딱 버리 준비해 버려 또 심리 소속이 나는데 다 대고 요마다 상황을 준비해 되는 걸로 당겨요 진짜 당겨 되잖아 가와서나들이 이렇게 초와지 준비해 봐요 직장을 할 때 직장을
So there's peaceful and wrathful deities, and the wrathful deities are said to have even greater compassion and greater power, and their nature is primordial wisdom. And the peaceful deities, their nature is love mainly. So they represent emptiness and compassion. And so for yourself now, in terms of what you should practice, actually there is no need to really ask anyone, but you can see for yourself, how do you feel about it? You should actually practice whatever you find most beneficial for yourself. Whatever deity you feel drawn to, that's the one you should practice. And even if you're not able to join the Drupa, the retreat, for example, the Yamantaka retreat, that is also fine. Nowadays also you can follow it. Like certain other retreats, you can follow them on the live stream, or there's recordings, like the CD recordings where the disciples recite together and so on. So everything is available nowadays. So even if you're just one person at home, you can still actually join a retreat practice. You can play the mantra CD, and you can arrange a shrine. And even if you can't arrange all of these offerings, you can also just maybe arrange some fruit for the offering, and maybe some like tea offering and so on. And actually there's two kinds of offerings. There is the actually arranged and the mentally created. And it is said that the mentally created offerings are actually even more beneficial when we really bring that up in our mind. So this is how you can practice at home, actually all the time, continuously, because the mind is really most important. For example, I myself also don't have time to always stay in retreat, but still in my retreat hut, I'm playing the mantra CD on the loop, and then also the same wherever I go. So no matter where you are, when you engage in practice, the blessings really are the same. And can you explain the difference between Guru Yoga and deity practice?
Laman namchua tang la komye tirwa ti ni kheba khare yo.
Tambo laman namchua chiwa lama sem de togo yore. Lama sem gari samti togo yore. Samchuk sem de tobda de 되게 이제는 되게 라카를 건너야 되리다. 상대가 더 제야요 말이지. 너무 상처서 토고요래. 대외리 또 라면 남겨래. 라면 상처서 톱나. 라는 센터더니 놀라 하정만들이 삼바세미서 하고나요. 들이 삼바세미때 사지심기 이거는 제가 차고요래. 들이대서 센터로 그냥 자공으로 시원해. 레하고 차대요래. 라면은 저 침몰해야지. 대형 라마제 속들 라마리 싸는 그 요마이 라마 센터랑 세비트 바에 봐 하고네. 대고아장 차네. 대다다지 봐 많이 받을 때 상태지 라마 하고나 들이대 라마는 저리 라마 자티나 상태지를 하고 또 라마 상촉처럼 써와대 라마 센터 토고래.
So first, we practice the Guru Yoga, and so here when we practice Guru Yoga, we have to actually find the mind of the Guru. And what is the mind of the Guru? The mind of the Guru is love. It is bodhicitta. So that is what we have to. That is what we have to attain. We have to accomplish bodhicitta. And then on the basis of that, you can practice any deity. But without love and compassion as the basis, you really can't practice the deity genuinely. So first you need to develop bodhicitta, and therefore the Guru Yoga practice is actually most important. And within that, it is most important to develop the mind of the Guru, that is bodhicitta. So if you give rise, if you really understand immeasurable love, then you can actually establish a connection to both Buddhas and all sentient beings. And then your mind will become relaxed and the ice block is melting and everything becomes more easy. So the Guru Yoga practice is most important. And so regarding the Guru, you shouldn't think that the Guru is the body, the form. But actually, the Guru is the mind. And that mind is actually inseparable from your own mind. And that is important to understand. And that mind is a mind of love. So if you understand that the Guru's mind is love, then you have really accomplished the Guru Yoga practice. And so then, even if you have 100 gurus, their mind is the same. They have the same love. Also in a prayer we say, I supplicate to the Guru, that is bodhicitta. So in a Guru Yoga practice, we have to find the mind of the Guru. And then, is it okay to simply recite mantra without doing the sadhana practice? If so, should we visualize the deity while reciting the mantra?
So the choka the madamba shirava ngak the nyamba chiko to nandrigi reves the case trigi yona then it take up like instrument lag gom go reves sarda go reves lag ngak den beka
초가데 강보 양대양도 판바가 로는 사대 진이다 더니 야연 근데 초가 고른데 딱딱 하고 그래 내가 하고는 라고나 당월라고 드니 진리 드니 조선 초반부터 고른데 하고서잖아 드니 지마드니 한코르데 찌보리 한코르데 찌보서 못하면 드니 대공소나 드니 한코르데 찌보 사못하면 한코르데 가지고 드니 남산 대진 하대나 드니 코바요 가로 초상상로 사오 양장 산대 드니 코바 메르가로 드니 초하는 남산 사들 남적이 드니 대인하는 하대나 그렇게 요래
First, when you first learn about the deity yoga, the deity practice, first you read the text again and again. So you study the visualization and the text and all the different levels that are included in that sadhana and that practice. For example, this immeasurable palace and the deity, the offerings and so on. There's different levels in the text. So you learn all of that, and you know about all those levels. And then later, sometimes actually it is enough if you just focus on the visualization of the mantra Garland and then just meditate on that. And also, while you do that, you recite the mantra. So then whenever you think of the mantra Garland, you just recite the mantra. So it also depends on your time. Sometimes if you do have the time, then sometimes it's good to recite the sadhana to, again, clarify and remind yourself. And if you don't have the time, then it is also fine if you just directly just think of the deity and then just recite that deity's mantra. And what is the difference between the Dharma Dhatu and the Dharmakaya?
Men kakayme 세 취지 행 산지 취적과 랑게 셈 사자 지금 어때서 찍바 남가라 더버슴 거는 딱 요래 제 산지 동 찍바래 주니 이제는 주니 내가 주니 내가 대사비 동 찍바래
So actually they are the same thing, but we just actually give them a different name. So we say there is the outer Dharma Dhatu, the expanse, and then there is the Dharmakaya of the Buddhas, and also there is the essence of Mahamudra, that is your own mind. All of these actually are actually describing the same nature, the space-like nature. Or we call it also the truth of the Dharma Ta, this ultimate reality. So all of these actually have the same meaning.
선남카 영라고 요래 난 취행조 난 세번나 화하고 거래 나도 당신 가를 가장 양땅 어때 나도 직장에 샘대 취행대 대 가르치 취행대는 혼인이가 된 소용요래 선 동사동성 욕되거든이 나디들은 화종요 인민들은 사제종을 때 추탐제 소요에 때 취행대 망샘 때 내로 똑바들 취행하고 요래 샘도 나가다와 하마고는 나 취행을 이제 하고 요 말.
So the outer space is what we call this dhatu, or this expanse, and then actually what we need to understand is the inner space within the space of our own mind, and we understand that when we look at the mind that is free of all discursive thoughts. Actually, we have been introduced to that the other day, actually again and again. So it is the thought-free mind, that is the Dharma Dhatu. And that's Dharma Dhatu, then that is, from that basis then arise all the phenomena of samsara and nirvana. And that basis is clear and empty. And when there is self-grasping, then it creates samsara. And when there is altruism, then it creates nirvana. So it is the basis of all, like this basic space of phenomena, this Dharma Dhatu, from which all phenomena arise. And that is the space-like mind. So if you don't understand the space-like nature of your own mind, then you also can't really understand the inner Dharma Dhatu.
내가 말하리 배송을 특례하고 샘다 남카 체면에 죽을놈도 줘봐인소 대 고잡고 갈 때서 샘 남카로 하고 그래 고네 남카가 용띠요 그랬으나 가리 남카가 가리스나 톡톡 매봐 장이 가리지나 배라 노용을 가리지나 배라 신통자 자주 남카가 요구요 말이 배대나기 샘 남카다 때라 대도고 좋아 그 절마다 대도 좋아 가리지나 냐마지도 좋다봐 대는들이 남카가 용띠는 되면 샘 들은 게 다 죽어 하고를 다 대래 대도고 좋아도 봐 셔도 봐 돌도 봐 들때 남카 용띠 대래.
Milarepa explained that actually in very simple terms. He said that when there is no difference between mind and the sky, that is actually the accomplishment of the Dharmakaya. That is the realization of the Dharmakaya. And so when we meditate, first we understand that the mind is space-like. And then that we habituate through practice. And so what are the qualities of space? The qualities of space are that nothing affects space. There's no obstruction in space. So it doesn't matter what you do in space, whether you may call it good or bad. It all is the same for space. For example, whatever you throw through space, whether it's a rock or an atomic bomb, it makes no difference to space. Nothing affects or moves the space, the outer space. And so similarly, the space-like nature of the mind is not affected by any feeling of happiness and suffering, or like pleasure and pain. Nothing can change the mind. The mind, to that mind, the space-like mind, everything is completely equal. And now that is to understand the Dharmakaya, which is your own mind. So that is, you accomplish that. You really understand those qualities of space when all these feelings of happiness and misery and so on, when you're able to let go of them, when you're able to liberate them all. So that is when you really have understood the qualities of space. If I am drowsy while meditating, can I still practice Mahamudra and watch the drowsy mind wander into a dream-like state? Or should I force my mind to be awake or terminate my meditation?
Sometimes come gapla this that need of shondo yorva this that is tangchin do yorva the gap na chagya chembo kombe gap tangchin do gorira the gapla khare chi goris tangche sem dirva mukpe sem tela theta da gorves penangarang ki sem dana milan and do dos chi yorva mukpe sem de ti ngobo da gorves yana tanga utso gap sho gap tanga insimen shi da jen shi gyong sho gap yana mga gom pet 참쇼 거르베스 가르치 거리스
고무 통통 자고를 자르스 주디 쇼게 토마장 샤르네 니마 마샤 파리 티스 주디 약속이 다티 고토 용고이면 곰 가디잖아 곰 통통 잡 들판 민소자 그 곰도 욕 버jo네 되니까 당아 고자 하면 혹시 당아 냐가도 와서 냐는 생활인도 나도 같이 하고지 그 초와까지 찍거나 하고는 그 초와 당제들이 파야는들이 쳐다람는 밤에 이제 딱지만 보면 나도 딱지만 보면 들이 야냐는 나도 네 밤에 와라고 들이 조람 탐지를 세차는 들이 조람 탐지 거는 어떻게 말해 어떻게 탐지 들이 네 배우를 뜻당 탐지해야 돼 저도 들이 에리로로지 대기요래这弄的腊肉也多不弄的这玩意儿觉得当在这里面去搞成张我也搞的那这生烧去本来生烧去的这里这个光说你们我买家的汤吃的我们家的汤嘛吃啊我买家的汤吃那多我就带着我尝了这过去也是吃个的
So in the beginning, actually, your meditation sessions should be not too long, but shorter. And the best time to meditate is early in the morning, actually before the sun rises, just in the clear, when the sky is clear and the sun has not yet arisen. That's the best time for meditation. But of course, like most people can't do that. So you should just take whatever time you have to practice, and not just forget about practice when there's rest time. So use the time to practice meditation and recognize it when you're not doing it. For example, when you're resting, and then see yourself and see that. So now I'm lying down here and I'm resting. So what is actually happening in my mind? What kind of thoughts or feelings arise in my mind? So recognize all of those feelings and then let them be. Don't follow them. Let them be just like a wave on water, and do not analyze them, all those thoughts too much. Don't think about anything. Just let them be. And then if you habituate to that, then also later in all your day-to-day activities, all of these thoughts and feelings will not really affect you so much anymore. So you need to habituate to that. But then also you should not really force yourself too much, because then again you get tired of meditation. And that is what we actually do. We often feel just too tired for it, and then we just in a way hang around, we relax and with not very straight bodies in a very kind of loose posture. And but when we do that, we are actually losing the power of our winds. And actually the winds should always remain at the navel. So one important instruction for meditation is that when you meditate, it's good if your spine is straight, and then your mind also will be more clear. And then that needs to be habituated. And when you actually once you really have habituated to meditation, then actually it will all reverse itself. So at that time, you will not feel tired when you're meditating anymore, but you will feel tired when you're not meditating anymore. You will want to meditate, and you will feel tired when you're not meditating, because when you're not meditating, then there's all these tiring, many thoughts that arise. So when that level is reached, that's really the best meditation.
Zaptung Tonghor Shibet Dama, Rodokora Shibet Dama, Mana Sadi Shibet Dama, some teaching, take on it. Nyam Yang, Nyam Yung, Kaido, Nyam Yang, Nyam Yung, or not to Hako, not to Timaji Hako, no. Not to Timaji Hako, Kaido, not to the one to major Shiva the Hantok to do. What David did Shiva the country? Drove up the Shiva the Hantok, or Nicola Che or marriage. Oh. Then Kala Saga, Kala Saga got the Chishuna, whole last of our train, then Tonghor the General, die on my company. Then Malang started me coming to the Tambo, Malang Hako, then it was a Hako, Young the Gona, then Malang started to chip a down our song. The taste of the Gom Jobaka, Yam Teletini, go long time till Gom say Matana, the Gom Jadi Jamata Yogurt. Kind of by your money, the land over.
Milarepa had said, this is the instruction where eating and drinking become feast offering, agana chakra. And this is the instruction where walking around and standing and so on become a circumambulation, like moving about becomes circumambulation. And this is the instruction where sleeping or that the dream state become luminosity. And so the instruction here is that when you meditate, you gain an experience of meditation while you are in meditation. And so the experience that you gain is that now I recognize the thoughts arising in my mind. I know whether or not thoughts arise. And then I am not controlled by these thoughts. The thoughts arise, but I don't follow them, but instead I sustain awareness with stability. So in that case then, if that is your experience, then in your day-to-day activities, when you go around, if you have that stable awareness, then going around in your day-to-day life is the same as doing circumambulations around a holy object. Or when you're eating with mindfulness, for example, remembering the hung syllable and so on, then eating becomes a feast offering, a Agana chakra, because then at that time there is no concept of a self. And then when you're sleeping, then first when you fall asleep with mindfulness, first you recognize the dream state. And then gradually you might also recognize the luminosity of the deep sleep state. And so that is the experience that we have gained in meditation that must be brought into our day-to-day activities, into our day-to-day life. So that means that if you just meditate when it's time to meditate, but then you forget about meditation in your day-to-day activities, then all of that meditation is of really no benefits. Then you have lost your meditation.
There's some you home to Jim, the look at Tang Padang Tamti, home, not all concern of the home dinner, the home the Tony. Hong or Chade, home with the Kishi Chado, home the Kishi or Kishi Tibetota, long dodgy de Panatani, no on our home, deliver our home, Tantokini, home to put down Padang Setana, the Niji, there's some more around here, Chucky or it. You talk there's a couple or Malam, Yakasawa Taki, the Kishi. 홍 찌뿌치는 데는 그래요.
And so how can we condense those 3 instructions into one? If you can't really think of them all the time, then actually it is enough if you only think of the syllable Hong. If you just remember Hong, which is like having an awareness of the pulsating, the pulsation, that the pulse that vibrates through your body is the pulsation of the Hong. The Hong is pulsating through your body with each beat, and then everything becomes Hong. When a thought arises, it becomes Hong. You always remember Hong, and the essence of Hong is emptiness. It is mindfulness. So therefore, if you then do not remember Hong, then you're also not mindful. And if you do remember Hong, then you are mindful. And also a way of practicing that is the Oma Hong Vajra recitation. So in the beginning, you start with the Om, Ah, and Hong. And then once you have habituated to that, so with inhaling Om, then going to the navel Ah and exhaling Hong, once you have habituated that, then there's only the Ah and the Hong at the navel, so the Hong in the Ah at the navel. And then once you have habituated to that, then there's only Hong. Just like the pulse vibrating through your body and vibrating at the navel. And so that is how those three practices actually naturally are practiced. Aside from the last one, the recognition of the deep sleep state, that is more difficult, and also the dream state. But we can all sustain mindfulness in our day-to-day activities. And to do that, if you just remember the syllable Hong, then that is actually sufficient. And how do you specifically locate the root of attachment and self-grasping in order to sever it?
저 말을 말이 세부대로 막도나 로막진지 또 봐지 그요 말이 초감이 말이 차대요리 저렇게 책이 봐도 나오나 그 말아 라송서 가래죠 그 말아지 들려온 거리 나한테 봐 뒤집어리 지금 하실 때니 다다리 가는 야 잡아 나오는 죄송 축하를 죄송 책도 받으시는 lang상 고소랑도 때 가서 궁하라 나마라지 지금 이 봐서 돼서 거기 말해서 가가도가 된도 차당이가 송들 뒤 지어야 되더니 나오냐마디 말해 봐 세군에는 마통 나오냐 봐 차대요 해지
So the root is ignorance, and that is not the root of ignorance. The reason why we are ignorant is because we don't see the true nature of our mind. And so then the mind is in this mind of ignorance is like a neutral, indifferent state where there is not much sensation. But then if someone insults you, then instantly that I comes in and you think that he said that to me. And that is it, that's the self-grasping. And from that I, all those thoughts of attachment and aversion arise. So you think like you look at someone and you get angry at them and you say, why did you say this to me? So you get angry. Or if somebody is nice to you and gives you a gift and so on, then you're happy. That's attachment. So this is the union of attachment and anger. It both arises. And it arises from this concept of an I. And that is ignorance. It is that the concept of an I is to not see the true nature of your mind. Is the Vajrakilaya Drupchen. In the Vajrakilaya Drupchen, there is a simple practice we can do. Visualize a hung at the navel with a flame coming out. Is there a simple practice like this for Cakrasamvara?
Papa Drupchen Kapla, Papa Nyamlen Kapla, the Nyamlen Tap Demo Tidos, so Setiva Nala, Mechikom, Metin on la Hong Comra, Tikom Yoris. Tini tanda ti temchog na layan tap tebo tin nangshin tap tebo nan manchi yorves mitparam.
Dimpola te dimpola ye hongdi ta la jatamba gobla. Do dimba atoka hong la we chikjang temiri chikjang ma de yang de na dang dang ni lu dang ari demeta ba ri 홍지 샘지 딱방 나와 냐바다 따래 나와 냐바다들이 홍이나 딘딘토라 이게 토토 홍지 상로 따지는 참아 사사마 되는 도요래 대회에서 홍지 바데 다 이게 마부들의 홍그래서 말이 이 책고라 홍 양대바도 요 말이 주스도 사제다 냐도 공부를 가르치고 이 홍곰 홍대도 직접 매와 차대요라는 이게 어떻게 대식 뭐 그런 거를 하지 그때 내용 거를 그때 홍대 싹스러 건나 줘요지.
So for the Cakrasamvara, it's actually the same. You can also visualize that hung syllable, and actually. Even if you practice 100 deities, they all have the same 3 syllables, Om, Ah, Hung. All their forehead is marked with Om, their throat with Ah, and the heart with Hung. And in that, all the deities are the same. They all have that. And now the Om and the Ah, they represent body and speech. And body and speech are impermanent. The Hung is the mind that is always there. And currently that mind believes in an I. And so instead of that, you visualize the Hung. So also in the Cakrasamvara practice, you can also actually visualize the Hung syllable. Because within that, actually, the mind of all the deities is complete. All the deities are complete within the Hung. So even though there's many different syllables and so on, they all are complete within Hung. And it also is written in different ways, but basically it is that sound Hung. And actually it is said that if you wanted to practice all of the Buddhas after 3 times simultaneously, then you should meditate on the Hung. The Hung represents them all. And when you meditate within the Hung, then just naturally everything else just disappears, and you naturally come to abide within your own Buddha nature. So the Hung syllable really can be applied to any deity.
Didn't that de la gomba koni kerem koni shure tati la gomje titani sawa tawa tiba chagone trisa rasi une rangi yute chwa chagone ma liba ma la tini sada masamana yute che so hanyumana tada nirugi na ye khoto dore ti kerem gomje ti to ha khol gomya de la to Magan Dati Tano Nidin Dadi Ben Pabana Nimatana Sabatungan or the going to Hajan Kishamori. They don't get to go to the Hajan Tunton Hajan Tower. Some girl is a Tambotri Demana Sadugomaya. Madi Chibo, the Hong Kong Mountain Chibo gone to my death, say gone. They gone, young to gone. Yundate Haram Semlame, Yundate Kudu, Yundasem Shago, Mari, on Beta Kiliki, Laya, Hampai, Delilo, Atero, the Hati, there was all the Sao Gon Totona, Yunukotona, Dela, Givati. The Niti Kali, Trin Kutopton, tate ta kale kora jang kortono tiri sem tenen reongo te ha jang da chemo yore te ta tupe ben la korde yo la korde de sem ro yore sem ro na ti kana tini la korde tini ji samje dan sem jin la samje ha bi ngi yo o la korde ga ji tamje le pengu sen flying high sa the samje san de wa ji tiri te ma ge ba cha tamje da do de ngo so sem gu khang de cha de te na ji ha korde tini beta yo mo de kale ta pe de corona and in corona de so the 좀 샘도 샘데 리데 메마치 네 당마치 뭐 휴미 근데 때 생카용도 데 샘도 따래 등가 거기 가래 상어 샘제 지도 데 마타와타비 나 거기 가래 거기 지마트니 하자 좀 나도 쇼관하지 거다 근데 나도 쇼관지 저도 이제 따고 내가 제 따이 데 빙도 nga korte na chopa kolon togo kolon don jase yori kolon do la kwatolo la kwatolo kolon ne yori te jochi som de matoro ade tikale de mo pa me ben ko to simje de tikale mo de haja jo ko de saja che ta ma ya de nga ga jase de se ha da ta che de jo da ta che de yang tang de nga da de je ta na 자 탐지 라기 가서 되는 정도로 여쭤보요. 되게 작아 박차도 오래. 들었다. 레지 박차 고고바티도 나가 박차 자지 박차 자동 지지 저 도바지. 공시 저와 적시는 생각들 갑자기 처와지는 어때 또과도 지리 다들 sem 좋은 거는 챙겨온 거를 하고는 저기 봐요. 로 나는 책도 와도 다다sem 좋아들 내는 거 일단 챙기지. 택시마다 봐야 갈랍랍. 대 저바티 중에 봐 하고는 가를 남나들이 장이 가를 남나들이 셈 똑바서 도고요 말이. 내가 잡니 봐지. 어떤 이따봉아 코르트바트리 용띠티 따위요. 대는 예반히 봐서 ngando korajagon ngando kontra niba dite tankor joko khotri niba dili ta samte ho de ba chamni simji tamjile saje tamjile choba par de sebu tarjangri simji de jang saje ni choba par de gondi dili joba dili yang de gomna dili na tamji rang ni ji mi ba chan na tamji 저밤에가 차로 나동 작동 찬티 생홍 사자치면은 내용나 드리터 줍시지 대그들이 세미디미 퍼센트들이 그 컨셉션이 담지 창을 받더니 니디식으로 식도고요래 들자상서 감점 말이야 예 기본 대상 하라 되는 연구를 대 연구를 또 갈래 그런 거를 이제도 고바자고 그랬지.
So thank you for your questions. And so now, since there is some time left, now we have mentioned, we talked about the meditation on the deity, the generation stage before. And so we have said that first there is the clarity, and then the purity, and then stability. And so that stability of actually being confident that I am the deity, that accomplishment of the deity, that really comes from visualizing the deity and reciting the mantra. And we have said, according to the new tantric system, there are the 4 classes of Tantra. And according to the old tantric system, there are the 4 branches of approach and accomplishment. And in general, when we practice the generation stage, the visualization, the most important part of the visualization is to visualize the mantra Garland. That's a gradual visualization for that. So, for example, in the Vajrakilaya practice, so we have first the sun seed, And then on top of that appears the the wisdom being, the size of like an inch or so, and a thumb joint. And then in the heart of that, first there's Kilaya, and then there's the wisdom being in the heart. So then it gets more and more subtle, and according to the text, it gets very, very small. And so when we first start with the practice, it is difficult to visualize all that detail, and it is actually sufficient, and the best meditation of visualization here is to visualize the seed syllable Hung surrounded by the mantra Garland, and then first you habituate to that again and again. So you keep practicing that until that becomes clear and really stays in your mind. So first you're visualizing the seed syllable, and then you're setting up all those mantra syllables, like in the Vajrakilaya, you have Benza Kili Kilaya Hung Pet, the short mantra around the Hung. So you're setting up those mantra syllables around the seed syllable, and then you visualize that until that becomes very clear in your mind, until that is stable. And that whole process is the first branch of those 4 branches. It is called the approach. So the first step is the approach. And here now you're setting up the mantra syllables, and you're seeing them until they become very clear. And when that is very clear, then you can begin to slowly rotate that mantra garland that begins to turn around the syllable Hung. So first it spins very slowly, and the mind has to merge with that mantra garland. The mind goes together with it, and that is a very important point. And that's actually also very similar to spinning a prayer wheel. When you spin a prayer wheel, then also the mind really has to go together with it, because you are spinning the prayer wheel with the motivation of benefiting sentient beings, with love for sentient beings. So you're spinning the prayer wheel, and then you visualize that now deities and mantras emanate and benefit beings, and so on. And in that way, if the mind goes along with it, then the prayer wheel, for example, purifies the ordinary imprints in your mind. So it becomes this spinning, this prayer wheel actually becomes almost like the washing machine of the mind. So you're purifying your mind by spinning the prayer wheel. So therefore, also the mantra garland that is turning is very actually a very important practice. So the mantra garland begins to spin slowly. So just like Rinpoche just showed, so it begins to spin slowly, and then eventually it accelerates and becomes faster. So so there's actually a very important instruction here. The mind really has to go together with it, because when you're not really focused on it, then when you're not really looking at the wheel, for example, the prayer wheel, then you're quickly distracted. For example, when you're going on an airplane, that's my own personal experience. It is that first, when the engine begins to spin, it begins very slowly, and then it accelerates, and it becomes very quick. And so when I really observe that, my mind really goes there. Or for example, there's even animals like a cat, for example. And sometimes we also see that when you spin a prayer wheel or so, that cats really become mesmerized by that, and they just keep staring at single-pointedly focused on that spinning and prayer wheel. So it really shows that it has some quality, there's some power in it when you really focus on it. And so also now when you go on an airplane, also try to see how that is now, how the engine begins to spin. So first you can see it begins to spin, and then it spins so fast that you can't see it anymore. And then you can only hear it. It gives off a sound. And it looks like it's not there anymore. You can't see it anymore because it's too fast. But then even though it looks like it's not here, you can't touch it. If you would touch it, you would cut your hand, because it's actually still there. It still has this cutting power, but you can't see, you can only hear it. And that's really very similar to the natural sound that it emits from the turning mantra Garland. So the mantra Garland spins and it accelerates, and it spins as fast as this engine, the engine wheel. And then it becomes so fast that you can't even perceive it any longer. And then at that point, you can just allow the mind to rest within a concept-free, a natural state, just single-pointedly, within the view of Mahamudra. And when you practice with sound in that way in general, in that way actually all sound becomes the natural sound of the mantra. And because sound actually is empty, it can become whatever you think it is. So if it is empty and if it is the sound of mantra, it becomes the sound of mantra. And then the sound of mantra purifies the ordinary imprints of speech. And so the imprints of the body are purified through the visualization of the deity, and the imprints of the speech are purified through the mantra recitation. And so that is, by that, through the mantra recitation, you recognize the empty nature of sound, and then these concepts of grasping at the truth of sounds will also disappear. So ordinarily, we do grasp at the truth of the sounds. For example, somebody says something negative to you, then immediately you feel like you are pricked by a needle. Instantly you feel very affected by that, and you think that he's saying that to me. And that instantly then obscures your mind, and that obscuration is what keeps your mind in bondage. So if you don't grasp at the sound, then it doesn't really matter what the other person says. So we need to recognize that the sound is what keeps us in bondage. For example, if someone has insulted you last year, then this year you still remember what he said, and still that feeling is here. And that feeling comes up, again, you are in bondage. So just let all of that be, all of these thoughts, and recognize the fault in grasping. And just feel that whatever the person says, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect me in any way. It's all the same. So now that is accomplished really through the power of the mantra, of recognizing the empty nature of sound. So now I'm coming back to the spinning mantra Garland. So now we are able to spin the mantra Garland. And so first you set up the mantra syllables, then they begin to spin, and then they accelerate. And that is the second step then, which is the close approach. In the close approach, then the mantra is spinning, is turning until it turns very fast. And then the third step, the third branch, is the accomplishment. And here, then, from the turning, the fast, the mantra Garland that is turning so fast, then light rays are radiating. And these are the light rays of love. And these light rays, they pervade all the Buddhas where they make offerings, and all sentient beings where they purify their negativities and obscurations, and then gather back. So that is the third step. And then you keep habituating, you keep practicing that, and eventually you become free of dualistic grasping. Then there is no more grasping at any appearance, at whatever appears. There's no more grasping at form. Form becomes empty. No more grasping at sound. Sound is empty. And no more grasping at mental arising. The mind abides in Mahamudra. And that is where you come to the fourth branch, that is the great accomplishment. And so here you are resting in the mind that is free of all dualistic grasping. And abiding within that mind is all pervasive, and therefore it can also destroy the dualistic grasping in the minds of limitless sentient beings throughout the three realms of samsara. This is, for example, also in the Yamantaka practice, it says that when we visualize all the 3 realms are the immeasurable palace and so forth. So gradually we begin to see things like that. So we train in that step by step, gradually.
So in our yellow prayer book, page 15, 1-5. For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of every benefit and bliss without exception. Tenzin Gyamso, you who are one with Avalokiteshvara, may you remain steadfast until samsara's end. You are the embodiment of all the precious ones. You, a great being, are the holder and the promoter of the teachings of the Shakya lion. Your perfect actions are for the liberation of sentient beings. May you, the Jetson Lama, whose enlightened activities are spontaneously present, live long. Precious holder of the triple gem of Drigungpa, who preserves the indisputable practice of the profound Dharma, who has realized the sublime truth which reveals peace and illumination. May you, who relieve the suffering of limitless beings, live long. The one known in the Holy Land as Aryadeva, emanated into the Gar clan of eastern Tibet as Drigungpa, the heart son of Jigten Gunpo. May the life of the glorious Garchen remain steadfast for 100 aeons. In this age of strife, when the victor's teaching faces hardship, through his powerful Vajra-like conduct, he takes on himself the heavy responsibility of the unbiased teaching. May Garchen, the son of the teachings, live long. You who are richly endowed with the glorious wealth of Dharma knowledge, who, through reflecting and meditating, have actualized the self-aware absolute reality, and shine with 100,000 light rays of ethical discipline of the Buddha Dharma. May you, Kenshin Ratnadwaza, live long. You possess the repository of the essence teachings of the past supreme siddhas. You, the precious Kunchok, are the refuge of all beings. You are the treasure trove of all the wish-fulfilling Norbus. Drubong Kunchok Norbu, I supplicate you. By the power of the wealth of our devotion and virtue, and of the deities of the 3 roots and guardians, may the life of the Guru, glorious protector, hold firm, and his actions ceaselessly spread in the 10 directions. Your 1,000 arms are the 1,000 Chakravartin kings. Your 1,000 eyes are the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate era. I prostrate to the Venerable Chenrezig, who shows whatever is needed to subdue those to be subdued.
Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum.
Sorry guys, quick announcements.